Imagine this, you're a fisherman, out for a simple day trip. The sky is clear, the sea is calm, but then a storm hits. A fierce, relentless storm that lasts for 5 days. When it finally clears, you're adrift in the vast, unforgiving Pacific Ocean. Your engine is dead. Your radio is broken, and all you have is an empty icebox. This isn't a movie plot. This is the true story of José Salvador Alvarenga, a man who survived for an incredible 438 days lost at sea. How did he do it? What kept him going when all hope seemed lost? Today, we're diving deep into one of the most astonishing survival stories ever told. It all started on November 17, 2012, in a small fishing village in Chiapas, Mexico. Alvarenga, an experienced 36-year-old fisherman from El Salvador, set out with a young, inexperienced crewmate, 22-year-old Ezequiel Cordoba. Their plan was simple, a 30-hour deep-sea fishing trip to catch shark, marlin, and sailfish. They were in a small, 25-foot, open-topped fiberglass boat, basically a skiff with a single outboard motor and a refrigerator-sized icebox for their catch. They had no cabin, no GPS, not even an anchor. For a few hours, everything went according to plan. They were hauling in a good catch. But then the weather turned. A powerful storm, a nort, rolled in with ferocious winds and torrential rain. The storm raged for 5 days straight. Waves crashed over their small boat, forcing them to constantly bail out water just to stay afloat. They had to dump their catch to lighten the load. The relentless assault from the sea eventually fried their radio and, worst of all, killed their engine. When the storm finally passed, they were met with a terrifying silence. The shore was gone. All they could see in every direction was the endless blue of the Pacific Ocean. They were completely, utterly lost. Their initial supplies, some water and tortillas, were quickly gone. Panic and despair began to set in. They had no way to call for help, no way to navigate, and no idea where they were. The ocean currents had grabbed hold of their tiny boat and were pulling them westward, deeper and deeper into the abyss. In the initial days, survival became a brutal, primal routine. Their first priority was finding water. Alvarenga, the seasoned fisherman, knew what to do. They collected rainwater whenever it stormed, using upturned turtle shells and empty plastic bottles they found floating in the ocean debris. When there was no rain, they had to resort to more extreme measures. They would catch turtles and drink their blood. It sounds gruesome, but it was a vital source of hydration that kept them alive. Food was an even greater challenge. Alvarenga taught himself to catch fish with his bare hands. He would lie still for hours, his arms dangling in the water, waiting for a fish to swim close enough to grab. It was a painstaking process that required immense patience. They also caught seabirds that landed on their boat. They would eat them raw, feathers and all. Sometimes they found jellyfish or floating garbage with bits of food attached. Every single calorie was precious. Alvarenga even ate his own fingernails out of sheer desperation. The psychological toll was immense. For Cordoba, the younger of the two, the ordeal was too much. He was not a seasoned mariner like Alvarenga. He grew sick from eating the raw food, often vomiting what little they managed to find. He became despondent, refusing to eat and losing the will to live. Alvarenga tried everything to keep his spirits up. He would talk to him, tell him stories about their future feasts, and try to force-feed him small birds. But Cordoba's depression deepened. After about 4 months adrift, he made a pact with Alvarenga. If he died, Alvarenga was not to eat his body. He wanted to be buried at sea. A few days later, Ezequiel Cordoba passed away. Alvarenga was now completely alone. For 6 days, he kept his deceased friend's body on the boat, talking to it as if he were still alive. The loneliness was crushing, and he was spiraling into a deep depression, even contemplating suicide. He would ask his dead friend, "How are you? Did you sleep well?" Finally, he realized that to survive, he had to let him go. He washed Cordoba's body and gently pushed it overboard, watching it sink into the blue depths. This moment became a turning point. He promised Cordoba he would survive, that he would make it back to land and tell his family what happened. This promise became his new reason to live. Alone, Alvarenga had to find a way to stay sane. He created a rich fantasy world in his mind. He would imagine elaborate meals, walking through his favorite places, and having long conversations with his family. He developed a routine. He would wake with the sun, scan the horizon, hunt for food, and talk to himself to keep his mind sharp. He tracked the passing of time by the phases of the moon, counting each full moon as another month gone by. He strengthened his faith, praying to God for deliverance and strength. He was no longer just surviving. He was living day by day, moment by moment. He saw countless container ships and fishing boats on the horizon. He would frantically wave, scream, and signal for help, but his tiny boat was just a speck in the vast ocean. No one ever saw him. Each time a ship passed without stopping, it was a soul-crushing blow, yet he never gave up hope. He told himself that the next one would see him. His resilience was truly superhuman. After 438 days adrift, on January 30th, 2014, something changed. He saw something on the horizon that wasn't just water. It was the faint outline of trees. Land. At first, he thought he was hallucinating again. But as the current pushed his boat closer, the image became clearer. It was a remote atoll, part of the Marshall Islands. He had drifted an astonishing 6,700 miles across the Pacific. Weak and emaciated, he abandoned his battered boat and swam to shore. He collapsed on the beach, his ordeal finally over. He was found by a local couple who gave him food and water and contacted the authorities. When he was rescued, he was bearded, long-haired, and his legs were so swollen he could barely walk. But he was alive. His story was so incredible that many were skeptical at first. Could someone really survive for 14 months at sea in a small boat? But as experts and doctors examined him and corroborated the details, the ocean currents, the timeline, his physical condition, his story was verified. He had accomplished the impossible. He had survived the longest solo journey adrift at sea ever recorded. José Alvarenga's story is a powerful testament to the strength of the human spirit, the will to live, and the importance of hope. It shows us that even in the most desperate situations, when everything seems lost, a combination of resourcefulness, mental fortitude, and a promise to a friend can help you endure the unimaginable. It is a stark reminder of the power of the ocean and the incredible resilience of a single human being against it. Thank you for watching. If you found this story as incredible as we did, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into history's most amazing stories. See you next time.